Welcome to another edition of Cool Cars, Interesting People. I'm Mark Campbell. Today we're going to talk to Barb Marchuk. Beautiful voice. She has a real heart about her too because she does a lot of work over in South Omo. We'll talk about that and we'll talk about what she's up to these days. Our car today from Lethbridge Volkswagen, it's a 2016 Volkswagen Beetle. And here is Mark Sarita. Mark, come on in here. It is a classic.
It is.
Yep.
Lots of fun to drive.
Yeah. Now tell us about it. I mean, this is a classic car built originally in the 30s. Not this one, but originally, right? Tell us about the vehicle.
Well, it was originally in 1938. It was brought on as the people's car, and it's lasted over decades in various forms. Today we have the classic Beetle that we're looking at today, the 2016. It has many different forms that they're going to be offering too, like the Dune. It does come in a convertible, so you can have lots of fun with that.
Yep.
And they have it so you can protect the so your hair doesn't blow in the wind.
Oh,
which, yeah. Okay, thank you. But it has a very powerful engine, actually a 1.8 turbo engine, and certainly the classic look is very particular. When you take a look in the interior, it is really, I got to just say, neat. I'm sorry.
Oh, it is, yeah.
Yeah.
And I love the color, the black color of the Volkswagen here. It looks really sharp.
It does, especially with those rims too. It really brings out the chrome, really contrasts. This particular one, being a classic, may not have as many features as the other ones that we provide, but hey, it's a classic. We wanted to keep it that way.
We'll get in this classic. We'll head out to see Barb Marchuk. What is it? Auf Wiedersehen? Whatever.
Not even there, Chi. I'm not sure.
Gotcha. All right.
Till the next time.
Yeah.
Perfect.
Hey, buddy. Barb?
Mark!
Come on in.
Hey.
No, me, come on out. I just came up there. I need a Sherpa guide for the next time. You want to go grab some coffee?
I would
Talk
love
about
to.
Stuff, okay?
Let me grab my coat.
Gotcha. Oh yeah, it's come on in. Okay. All right. So I have for you, Barb, a 2016 Volkswagen Beetle.
Wow.
I don't know. Is it gentlemanly for to open this door, or would you?
I take no offense at that.
Do you? Okay.
No,
Good.
No.
There you go.
Okay, thank you.
Here you go.
Thank you. Thanks.
Right on.
Wow.
So, what was your very first car when you were? What, 16? Would you have been 16?
I was, I think, 17 actually, and I had this disgustingly ugly but wonderful little MG convertible. The top of it was so torn up and horrible that it never came up. It always stayed down, so it was only a fair weather car. And then I had some friends out in Coaldale here actually who did kind of a quick bit of body work and slapped a coat of paint on it for me, so it turned out not too bad. And then actually it caught somebody else's eye and they bought it. They offered me money, like way more than I paid for it. So
you made money
I made money on my first car. Yeah. So
what an entrepreneur.
Yeah. That's too bad that didn't stick with me.
Now you're living. I haven't been out to Coaldale in this part of Coaldale for a long time. I can't believe how it's developed.
I know.
How do you like living out here?
You know what? I love it.
Yeah.
I really do. I had no intentions of living out here, to be honest.
Yeah.
We knew we needed something a little bit bigger, so we were looking around, and then there was a house out here that our realtor wanted us to compare with a little bit or something.
Yeah.
So when we drove into this neighborhood, it was just so roomy and I don't know, it was like you could breathe, you know.
Yeah.
And we had come from an acreage, so that was really,
that was important. Are you an acreage type of gal? Always
definitely.
Have been?
Yeah, and I would love to. You know what? If I could right now, I would buy a little piece of property in the mountains, and I would just be a hermit. Well, not totally.
Would you shave your legs?
No. You know what's funny? We were in Nashville doing this album in September, and Sarah Folden and her sister Jana Roth were with me. They did my harmonies and they did a bunch of writing with me and that sort of thing. So we found this little cabin. It was right on the border of Tennessee and Georgia.
Wow.
Yeah, exactly. And sure enough, we had this redneck neighbor. You know, he'd come home from work and whoop his shirt off and grab his beer, and he would just be on the deck, and we'd be on the deck, and Sarah and Jana were out there, and they started having a little conversation with him. He says, "Well, I didn't know that you Canadian girls would shave your armpits."
How do you answer that?
How do you answer that? You just, even Sarah was tongue-tied, I believe.
That's hilarious.
So funny.
Oh, then we're going to we're going to go to the famous
Bakery.
Coaldale Bakery.
Mm-hmm.
Let's go right here.
Sure.
They make great donuts here.
Yeah.
And they have coffee too.
They do. And their cakes are crazy.
Are you are you a coffee drinker?
Nope.
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 Okay. We can have something else.
Okay, good.
So you don't want a donut? You don't want some cake?
Well, I do, but I don't.
All right. Cool. So I want to talk a little bit more about Nashville. That's the thing. You went down to Nashville to record an album.
We did.
Talk about the album.
Yes.
The album.
Okay, so the album has been something that I've been thinking about for a really long time. You know, I don't even know where to start, but
let's start at the very beginning.
A very good place to start. Okay, so I've always been thinking about why certain things have happened in my life that weren't necessarily great things, but I've learned from them, and I see through the years how those things have allowed me to help other people. And we were out singing at the jail once, and I could see, you know, the girls come in, and it's really just a good excuse to get out of the cell sometimes. I think it's not that they really want to see these three girls up there singing and preaching.
So you weren't in jail?
I wasn't in jail.
Okay.
I went to
so
perform. Yeah,
okay.
Not that time. You know, I'm just. Anyhow, you know, I found that they had this wall. You could just see it. You know, they sit in their chairs and they're kind of, you know, whatever. I'm sure they look at us and think, you know, what do you know? You've lived a charmed life, and you really have no clue what our real life is like. I do know what a lot of their real life is like, and you know, in my younger years, I lived through some things, and so I saw that, and I could almost see that that's what they were thinking, and so I kind of shared a few things, and you know, I saw those walls just come
so they're saying,
rumbling down.
You are one of us, almost.
And then they would listen.
Yeah.
And you know, and there's things that I wish that I would have known then, that maybe I can share with them, and that can help them. And I thought about that, and I thought about how my life story kind of has, and even my whole life story as far as God is concerned. And so I've been writing songs, and some friends of mine have been writing with me, and we kind of discussed what I wanted to say, and so we put together this album called Mercy, My Story, His Glory, and it's just my testimony in song, really, is what it is.
So the general message would be what?
I guess redemption. You know, that you're never in a place that's, you're never too far gone. You're never unredeemable. You're never unforgivable.
So how low did you ever get in your life?
You know, the funny thing is, I've been up and down a few times, and especially I had some rough patches. About when I was 12, something happened in my life that really made a huge. When I look back now, I can see that that's where I kind of started my compromise, you know, and my first compromise, my first big compromise. And then I had some things happen in high school that weren't great, and that kind of added to that. And so, so it became easier and easier to compromise all the time until I was living a life, somebody I didn't even really recognize anymore. And so you know, there were times then I had an early marriage that we were talking about, very brief, very abusive, very hard, and but that wasn't even the lowest point, really, which was funny because here I am, happily married. We move up to Wetaskiwin for my husband's job, and I was touring in Europe at the time.
Singing.
Loving it. Country music, doing okay on the charts and everything, and you know, getting some gigs, and it was a great life. It was kind of like I had two lives. I had a life over there, and I had a real life over here.
Is there a life in Wetaskiwin?
No, no. Sorry.
All right, sorry to interrupt. Go ahead.
I'm going to get emails like crazy. But anyway, I knew when I moved that I would have to quit that because my kids, when I would go to Europe, I would be gone for a month or 3 weeks, you know, at a time, fairly large chunks of time. Hate to leave your kids with just anybody, but here in Lethbridge I could do, you know, leave them with my mom and dad, or somebody would be there to help Larry a little bit. Larry's job took him out of town a lot, so.
Larry is your husband?
Yes,
now.
yes. Okay. So I knew that when we moved up there that I would have to say that was it. You know, that was it for my touring and for Europe and music, basically. Yeah.
Heartbreaking in a lot of ways.
Yeah, and yet I knew that I had to do that for him because he had sacrificed so much for my music. My whole, you know, the whole time we've been married, he has just been such a my biggest fan, really, and he's just sacrificed so many things so that I could do what I wanted to do, and so here was his opportunity, and I couldn't say no to that. So we went up there, and so I had no music, I had no family around me. I was very isolated. We lived on an acreage, which was great, but very isolated. I homeschooled the kids, so there was even an isolation there, and I just got, well, and then there's snow from like July to June, and I think I have that seasonal disorder.
The Chamber of Commerce, Wetaskiwin, anyway.
Yes. Yes. Oh, it was not my favorite time. No. Anyway, so all of a sudden I had everything taken away from me. Everything that I loved, except for my kids and Larry, were taken away from me. And I had just nothing, but it was God getting my attention.
Right, okay.
I had always known God. I'd always had some sort of a relationship, but it was very easy up until that point to just sort of push him into the background, and, you know, it was no big deal. But I did a lot of soul searching at that time, and you know, the old, okay, God, if you're real, then, you know, show me, or, you know, and I mean, there was no fireworks or lightning or anything like that, but there were.
He didn't email you, text you?
Didn't email me or text me. He just grabbed a baseball bat, he whacked me over the head, and he says, okay, how's this? No. But yeah, so I got to the point where I fought this my entire life because I knew that, you know what, God wants you to surrender to him. And that's, to me, failure or a sign of weakness, or, you know, I thought submission, right? You know, and, you know, I kind of learned my whole life that you wanted to be strong and independent, and I couldn't imagine that God would want me to do that. But I got to that point, and I did, and I just said, yep, I'm yours, 100%. I 100%. It was the most freeing thing I've ever done in my entire life, the most empowering thing I've ever done in my entire life, and had I known that, I would have done it so much sooner.
You know, one thing I always wonder about when people transform and accept God, it always seems to be there's a low point. Do you see that there's ever a point where a person is at the highest of his life, best time of his life, and still accepts God?
Absolutely.
Does that happen?
Yeah. You know, we were talking about my daughter, and she is one of those girls that can learn. She can see the mistakes that I've made, and she doesn't do that. She avoids that. I, on the other hand, would say, oh, really? Well, you made that mistake, but you probably didn't do it the way I would do it. So if I'll do it, and I won't get the same ramification. Well, no, it doesn't work like that. But so I think for people like me, sometimes hardships are allowed. I think God allows things so that you get your attention. Because if, you know, and I say this to so many people that don't believe in God, if I'm right, then it's worth the research. You need to know for sure, because we're talking eternity. We're talking about an entire eternity. That's a big deal. If you're right, no harm, no foul. We end up in the ground, or worm food, whatever, or maybe we come back as a goat. You know, there's no. But really, we spend so much time, like even with our children as parents, to make sure they have the right clothing and the right games, and that they're in the right sports and all of that. but if there is an eternity, is it not worth at least the research? That, you know, and so I had done all of that. I needed to see the archaeological evidence that supported the Bible. I needed to see. I wasn't one of those people that could just sort of leap blindly, and it's all there. It is the most reasonable answer to why we exist.
Yeah.
There's really no better answer. So, but no, I've seen a lot of people that have had things handed to them on a silver platter, including their relationship with the Lord. And so, no, I think he just has to get our attention in different ways.
I'm still envisioning myself as a goat right now.
Yeah, I was in Africa. You don't want to be a goat.
Getting back to your album, though, the experience of Nashville. I mean, we've talked years ago, and just an atmosphere that is. The talent that's there, the musicians that are there, the people that are willing to take you, Barb Marchuk, I don't care who you are, if you've got music, let's sit down and let's get the best musicians and write the music and do the music together. Yeah. The collaboration is just wonderful, isn't it?
I know, and you know what, like this time I brought a couple of friends of mine, Sarah Folden and Jan Roth. They did a lot of the writing with me, and they did the background harmonies, and so this was their first trip to the studio, and so it was kind of nice to be able to see it through their eyes again. Yeah. You walk into the studio, and these guys, they've never really even heard the music before, so it's, you know, something, and they just kind of get together, and then before you know it, they've made what your little chicken scratch sound like a real song.
Isn't that amazing?
Yeah.
It's just, that's like your baby being born right there.
Yeah, exactly.
And like I say, you could be Reba, you could be Barb. They want to do the same work for you as they would for Reba McEntire.
Yeah, I truly believe that. Yeah,
that's great.
Yeah.
So is the album done?
It's done. Yeah, I'm just getting it pressed right now. Actually, we just sent the artwork, and you have all these new things. I'm so old. You know, things don't stay the same. So now you have to have these little codes embedded into the music and all that. I'm like, I did. Okay, codes. I'll get one.
Is that right?
Yeah.
And so when will the final product be available?
In about 3 weeks. I'm hoping to do a CD release April 15th, 22nd, one of those dates. So we'll keep you posted.
What do you want to come about as a result of this? Was this just an experience that you needed to do, or is this something you need to share? What's the ultimate goal of why you did what you did? Because it ain't cheap to go to Nashville and spend time and get
not.
the best. Yeah.
And this is the first time that I really haven't thought too much about that, about, you know, how many albums we have to sell to make sure that that's paid for, this is paid for. I really do want to take the world. You know, it's going kind of crazy right now. And so I just think this message needs to be heard. And so I would really like to just take it. It gives me an in where I might not normally have gotten in had I not had a little bit of music and some singing and something to leave even with me. So we, like I said, we sing at the jail once in a while. And so I'd really like to get into other prisons and talk to women in jail
and now you're also kind of doing your own ministry now, or is that what you're planning on getting into?
Right, and that's all part of this.
Right.
So it's called His Song Ministries.
Nice.
Yeah, and so I still do want to do a little bit of work in Africa. I have kind of stepped aside from Friends of South Omo, and that's now become Galata Ministries. Paulos is taking that over. And but I've still got friends there that I'm in touch with every day, and so I don't know that I could ever leave that entirely, but that's almost become more of a personal thing than a nonprofit sort of type thing. So I don't know how that'll work.
And that experience, we've talked many times about what you saw and what you helped. You were able to, you made a difference over there.
Well,
fair to say.
I'd like to say the biggest success I think was the agricultural program.
Because you want them to help themselves.
Right, and they are the ones that told me, okay, we don't need you anymore.
Yeah, which is
that was
wonderful.
Yeah, I couldn't believe it, and they're sharing their knowledge with their neighbors, which is doing two things. It's helping to feed those other tribes, and we're talking hundreds of thousands of people. We're not talking just a little village of 40 people. And so, but it's also like feeding those other tribes, but it's bridging something that has never happened before. They've been warring together for so many years, and now all of a sudden they've found something to give to each other. And so there's mending fences too. So, but again, if it wasn't for the Word of God, if that didn't come first, wouldn't have happened. It really wouldn't have.
Would you have thought to yourself as being a person who has accepted God? Like when you were 20 years old, do you think you could have envisioned yourself being who you are right now?
No.
No.
My mom, when I first started singing again, and I was late singing because I had kids young, and so I had put it all behind me. She said to me one time, "Barb, I dreamt about you leading praise and worship."
And you said,
yeah. And I said, and I, in no uncertain terms, I said, "Mom, put that away. It's never going to happen. That's not what I do. It's not who I am. It's never going to happen." Well, I'd eat those words for sure.
And happily.
Happily. In fact, then now I write those songs. I don't just sing them, I write them. So, yeah.
So would you say you're about as happy as you've ever been in your life?
Absolutely. Yeah. Boy, and you know what? Even a year ago, I don't think I would have said that.
Really?
Yeah.
Gosh, that's quite a transition.
Yeah.
So there's still hope for a lot of us, right?
It's amazing what can happen, and never give up, because my goodness, things can just change.
Aside from all of the spiritual, situation you're in, or the music. What about the music, and how much does that mean to you?
Oh.
Over the course, I mean, you entered a ton of talent contests over there. You won everything, right? Pretty much.
Well,
yeah,
I don't know about that, but
I
did. When I was in grade 1, I remember.
You won in grade 1?
Well, no, I didn't.
Oh.
But I remember being in class, and I was, that perfect little student. I always wanted to be good, and then I got a knock on the door, and somebody wanted to see me in the hall. Oh, that was like, I just wanted to throw up. But it was a lady who she must have been in our classroom when we were singing in music class, and she had selected me to come out and sing for her in the hallway, and she put me in the Kiwanis Music Festival that year. And so that began kind of that career. Never won until grade 7. I was always second or third. Never won. Yeah. Finally, I won in grade 7 once. Yeah. And so then I got involved with West Stefan at junior high school. Sure. We did The Truth About Cinderella, and I was Dame Welly.
Wow.
The evil, loved that. And then did a couple of Lethbridge musical theaters.
What did you do?
Played Hava in Fiddler on the Roof.
Oh, great.
Yes, and I was in the pajama game with you.
What? I don't remember you.
Well, no, because I was a little peon in the chorus. You were.
Of course, I didn't care about people like you.
You and.
Yes. I always feel bad when there's so many people in the cast and you just don't really get to know. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry. Was I okay to you? Would I say hi?
No, you were so good. Yeah. You were. I was your favorite.
No, that's good. Yeah. Did you do any more theater after that?
No, and I've always wanted to. I haven't even, I really wouldn't mind to do one more, at least one day. I always wanted to play Rizzo in
Greece.
In Greece. Yeah,
wow.
Now I'm too old, but I'll have to settle for
Makeup
Mother Superior and Sound of Music.
That'd be good.
It would
Climb
be.
every mountain.
That's right.
Yeah, that's cool. So what's next? So the ministry is next. Your kids are doing well.
Yep.
Life is good. What's on your horizon?
Yeah, I think that's it.
Yeah.
If I can get, my biggest problem is that I'm such a horrible promoter of myself. I can promote others and other causes and that sort of thing, but if I'm in it, so I have to kind of jump that hurdle somehow and get past that a little bit.
Look at me.
Yes, yes, I will be good for you to hear.
We have to sing a song together.
I know.
What
that's
song?
On my bucket list.
What can we sing right now?
Right now?
Come on.
We're not going to go we're going to sing here?
Yeah, let's do it. What have we got? What's in your mind?
I don't know.
How about Amazing Grace?
Amazing Grace? Well, at least they would like it.
Let's do it. You want to do it?
Really?
Yeah.
Okay,
you start. Amazing Grace. You do the harmonies.
No, okay.
How great
the sound that saved a wretch like me. Soon to be you. I once was lost, but now am found. Was blind, but now I see. There's one off the bucket list.
Barb Marchuk, everybody.